Hello, hello. How are you today? Give me just a second to get everything live. Are we working? Let's see. Just give me just a second. And let me know that you're here. All right, and let me pull this up on my phone to make sure it is playing live. Hold on. I don't know that it is, but it's showing it is here, but I do not see it live on. Hold on. Give me just one more second. Let me close that up and try it one more time. All right. So I'm not seeing it, but hopefully it is live. So if you're on Facebook, just kind of give me a little something something to let me know that you're here and it's all working. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So here's what I want to talk about today. There's something that I think is quietly exhausting a lot of us, and we don't even realize it's happening. We're carrying way too much, not just on our to-do list, but in our minds, in the meaning that we attach to everything we do. Now, I was thinking about this earlier because one of the things that is that I saw a movie, and this has been a very long time ago, and I think it was Parenthood, but I'm not possible. I'm not possible. I'm not positive. But there's this scene in there where oh, and who the heck is the actor? I can't remember for some reason. But anyway, he is coaching his son's little league team. And so he's really proud that he's coaching, and then he starts worrying that what if I do it wrong? And so he is imagining he's at the game, and a kid hits the ball, and his son's in the outfield, and he's out there with his glove up, and he's trying to catch the ball. And so Steve Martin, I think that's who it is. Um, but he's trying to catch the ball, and he catches the ball. And so him being the dad and the coach, suddenly he envisions that after that, the son is so excited, and that when he's graduating from school, he's saying, I owe everything to my dad. And he's just, everything's wonderful, right? But then he all of a sudden he realizes the ball is still up, and then he thinks, but what if? And then he envisions his son out there in the outfield with the glove up, and the ball goes right past his glove. And in that instant, he imagines that when his son is graduating from college, maybe it's high school, I don't know, but his son is standing on the roof of a building with a machine gun, and he's plowing people down. And the only difference was how the dad actually coached his son, right? And so it's like we attach so much meaning to all the different things that we do. So, and I know that's an extreme example, right? But the movie clearly plays for a dark comedy. But here's what's real. How many of us living somewhere between those two versions, right? Treating every decision, every action, every post, every conversation like it's the moment that determines everything. And the thing is, you're not carrying a decision. You're actually carrying a universe right there, right? And it's when a single choice, what to say, whether to post, whether to raise your hand, whether to make the offer, feels like it has the weight of your entire future attached to it. And here's the thing about carrying that kind of weight. No wonder you don't move. No wonder the comfort zone wins, right? Because your comfort zone isn't actually comfortable. It's just lighter than what you're imagining it would cost you to step forward. So you stay. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't want more, but because every potential step feels catastrophic before you even take it. Just think about that. Let me check and see. I'm looking to see if we've got any comments over here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Say hello, ask a question if you have a question, or join in the conversation. So one of the books that I love is by Florence Scovel Shinn, and she had something to say about this. So the name of the book, and you'll have to excuse, my dog is over there playing with a toy if you can hear that. So the name of the book that she wrote is The Game of Life and How to Play It. And the whole premise is right there in the title. It's a game. It's meant to be played, right? With intention, yes. With purpose, yes. But also with a lightness, a willingness to take your turn without requiring that every turn be a masterpiece. And just earlier I was on a call, and one of the things that I shared was that when I was in high school, I had a friend that when she would read a book, and she loved romance novels, but any book that she read, she wanted to read the last chapter first so that she could see how it ended. And like someone else in the group, if it didn't have a good ending, she wouldn't read the book. And to me, that felt like, but you're not enjoying how you got there, because sometimes things don't end quite the way you expect them to, but the journey there is amazing. And so a lot of times I think we are trying to read the last chapter first so we know how it ends to know whether we want to move or not. But when we can make life a game instead of an actual verdict, we can actually participate in it. Because here's what your nervous system is actually doing. When you attach enormous meaning to every small action, your brain registers it as a threat, not a metaphorical threat, an actual threat. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between, I might miss this catch and I might not survive this. Think about that. It doesn't see the difference between, I might miss this catch, ball in the air, right? Or I might not survive this. Whew, that's heavy, right? And your subconscious, whose number one job is to keep you safe, says, let's not find out. Let's just stay right here. Let's not post. Let's not send the email. Let's not ask. And that's not weakness. That's your system doing exactly what it was built to do. The work, the real work, is starting to teach your nervous system that moving forward is actually safe. And that missing that catch doesn't mean the story's over. That one moment is just one moment. What if it's allowed to be lighter? So I want to offer you something today, a simple reframe. What if the thing you've been circling around, the decision, the action, the conversation, what if it's allowed to just be one thing? Just one thing, not everything, right? Not the thing that determines your worth, heaven's sakes. Not the thing that defines the next 10 years of your life, but just one thing. One solitary move in the game. Think of a chessboard, right? It's just one solitary move. One catch attempt in one inning of what is a very, very long and beautiful game. And actually, you're allowed to try and miss. You're allowed to show up imperfectly. One of the things is that every time you miss, you learn to course correct, right? And it's the way I look at it is all of those missteps, what we think is a misstep in the process, in the going through it, we feel like we took a wrong turn, we took a misstep, we missed the ball. But what if the missing of the thing actually puts you in the place to do amazing things, right? You're allowed to take the turn without knowing how it ends, because in fact, that's the only way anyone ever plays this game. Nobody knows how it ends. The people who look fearless aren't carrying less meaning. They've just learned to hold it. They've just learned to hold it. What do you think about that? They hold it more loose. They're not so rigid and tight on it. So what would you do today if the stakes felt a little bit lighter? And another way to say this, and I've heard so many people over the years, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Right? What would you say? What would you try? You should write that down. What would you do today if the stakes felt a little lighter? What would you say? What would you try? So here's what I know. Intellectually, hearing this helps. But if you've been holding things tightly for a very long time, if your nervous system has been on high alert mode around your choices, that doesn't shift from one conversation. That shifts at the subconscious level. I have a workshop coming up that I would love to invite you to. It is on March 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's actually a money workshop. But I have so many things that you can take advantage of. My YouTube channel, there's so much there. There's stuff in my school membership. But you can also reach out to me and say, I'm confused. I don't know how to move the needle. I don't know how to begin to take this lighter. I don't know. But life really is meant to be a little more like a game. And if you feel like you need some help to do that, just DM me. You can always go to my Linktree, which is Linktree, linktr.ee/Vicki Poole. And I would love to help you. You can join me in the Stand Up and Stand Out community. I will actually, in the description, I will try to put the actual link to, or you can just go to vickipoole.com and that'll take you straight to the Stand Up and Stand Out community. So thank you so much for being here with me today. And I know normally I come in on Monday mornings and talk to you, but I had a networking event to go to, and I didn't want to miss it. There was so much good there, and I'm so glad I was able to go. There's something about in-person networking that just feels so good right now. But seriously, this community is my favorite place to be on a Monday morning with all of you guys. And I want you to go into this week a little bit lighter. Pick one thing that you've been holding too tightly on and just let it be one thing. Not everything, just one thing. All right. So it was amazing to have you here today. And if this landed for you, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here because I always want to know. And if you have any questions or anything, just DM me. You can put something in the comments, but I would love to hear from you either way. All right. And as always, life is delicious. So go play. And I will. See you soon. Love you guys.